All right, welcome back to Waste Some Time with Jason Green. I am Jason Green. And for those of you who watch this channel, you're probably familiar with my Life on the Road toward our video series or my videos about famous television filming locations. And a lot of you have seen my interviews with various rock stars. But today is something special, something fitting with the Christmas season fast approaching. My guest was a part of arguably one of the biggest movies of all time. And not only that, she said one of the most famous lines in cinema history. She also has a resume that just doesn't even sound real. It's so incredible. She's co-starred with the likes of Jimmy Stewart, Cary Grant, Bing Crosby, and even John Wayne. And she's been directed by such legendary directors as John Ford, Cecil B. DeMille, and Frank Capra. My guest today is Karolyn Grimes from the movie It's a Wonderful Life and much more. I was so fortunate to have this sit-down interview with her and to bring it to you right now. And it starts after this. Just wanna waste some time with you. So we'll talk a little bit about your career, and I was taking a look at it, and there's no resume quite like yours. And while people may know It's a Wonderful Life, you co-starred with Jimmy Stewart, John Wayne, Bing Crosby, and Cary Grant, and that's just to name a few. That's just me sort of picking favorites. You were directed by Cecil B. DeMille, John Ford, and Frank Capra. And again, that's just to name a few. The knowledge you have of cinema and the people you were involved with, any book on Hollywood, you're an encyclopedia of this amazing world. And I'm so glad that you're here to share it with us today.
Just the olden days.
Well, the good olden days. The first thing I wanted to ask you is you've done so many interviews is how many of these memories are vivid to you, and how much is it that you sort of remember telling the story? Do you remember 1946?
Well, fortunately, because of the celebrity or whatever, the success of It's a Wonderful Life and Zuzu, I've been in the spotlight since the early 90s. So, I mean, it's over and over and over. I talk about it all the time. So it's very real to me, and it's true.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because I'm 50 years old and I can't remember what I'm going to do in 10 minutes.
Well, when I was 50, I probably didn't, but no, no, actually, I had a lot of scrapbooks. I had a lot of notes that my mother had left. I had a lot of things that helped me sort of prepare for this. Plus, rabid fans would tell me a lot of things, and I'd check on it and they'd be right. And so I have this knowledge of the making of the movie and the movie itself, and it's pretty wonderful. I've been doing this since 1993.
That's when the movie sort of becomes rediscovered and you become sort of found. But let's go back even before that, because I'm fascinated how you get involved in acting. Your first movie, 1945. That's That Night with You. Buster Keaton appears in that movie, another
Yeah, yeah.
legend. So your mother took you on auditions. How did you become an actress?
Well, she was a stage mom. I was an only child. She gave me every lesson possible, singing, dancing, elocution, everything. And then she decided to take me to see an agent that took most of the children. Back in the day in Hollywood in the early 40s, that was the business. Everybody was in the business in Hollywood. That was just the lifestyle. So it wasn't anything special particularly. She just wanted me to be a part of that. So she knew an agent who handled most all of the kids. And like all the kids in It's a Wonderful Life, we all had the same agent. Her name was Lola Moore. And my mom took me to see her and she said, "Ooh, I like her." And so I started getting parts. She sent me on auditions and I got parts.
And Fred McMurray, who most people know from My Three Sons, but had an amazing movie career as well, he sort of did he sort of discover you and helped you get in part in my past?
No, no,
No,
that was just my agent. That
agent got you a
and
part.
I went and interviewed, and so I sort of did it myself.
Hmm.
They liked me, and
Yeah,
I
and
loved doing that movie. He was great, and I'm so young, yet I can remember the backyard of the house in Beverly Hills where we filmed part of that. And the bathroom that was in the backyard was kind of like a harem, an Arabian harem, curtains, cushions, all this. And it was just in the backyard in this house in Beverly Hills. I mean, I'm a little kid and I remember this sort of thing. So it was pretty stunning.
yeah, you're always going to be associated with Christmas. Well, in 1946, you appeared in a movie called Blue Skies, which has Bing Crosby, who will always be associated with Christmas as well. Fred Astaire, music by Irving Berlin. It's incredible. Tell me a little bit about that.
That was really fun working with him. Now, he had been, supposedly mean and all this sort of thing and hated kids. Not true. He was wonderful with me. He joked around with me. And Jerry Colonna was his best friend, and he would come over and visit the set, and they'd joke together. And Bing Crosby would include me in that. It was really fun. And of course, I got to kiss him, or he kissed me in the movie. And so they made a big deal about all the women who kissed Bing Crosby. And I'm in the list.
Yeah, that's amazing that you made the list.
Yeah,
Um, as a young person, being around these people, these big stars, did you know they were big stars, or you were just a kid?
I had no idea. My mother raised me as if this was normal life. It just everybody did it, and it was just the people you meet are just everyday people. I had no idea what a star was really, and I didn't know that these people were actually movie stars. I didn't. It wasn't any big deal. I mean, I'd go in the commissary and I'd see Clark Gable and all these people eating lunch, and I wouldn't think anything about it because I just thought they were regular people. Didn't know they were stars.
Yeah, it was part of your life. In 1946, It's a Wonderful Life comes around, a movie that will change your life forever, but a movie when it was released wasn't really a big hit, and it sort
No,
of went away, right?
it was not a success. It was nominated for 5 Academy Awards and it only won one special mention, and that was for the making of the snow.
The
That's
snow stole the
all it
show.
won. And that was Frank Capra's idea. And he created that snow himself. He had a degree in chemical engineering, believe it or not. And so he got fomite, Irish silk flakes, and mixed it all up because he wanted silent snow. The snow before It's Wonderful Life had been cornflakes sprayed with white paint, and they crunched. And he wanted the silent snow, so he put it together, and it worked. And they're still using that procedure.
Amazing, yeah. He
Yeah.
was ahead of his time. In 1946, World War II is ending and people are coming home. Jimmy Stewart is one of those people. Um, Tell me a little bit about, I know you've talked about this a lot, but tell me a little bit of what it was like working with Jimmy Stewart.
He was really kind, gentle. I just couldn't say enough good about him because he had to pick me up, carry me on his back, and I mean, there was a lot of physical contact there, and he had to put up with all of that. And he was always so gentle, so kind. And of course, in later years now, I'm realizing that It's a Wonderful Life sort of changed his life because he'd come back from the war and he didn't know what to do with himself. And he was extremely depressed. He was suffering from war fever, whatever. And he was not sure that he even wanted to do movies anymore. And Frank Capra convinced him to be a man who lived a life and then became unborn and then was born again. He said, sure, I'll do it. So he did it, and it changed his life as well. And I just got through working in Ireland on a new movie called Jimmy. And it's about his days during the war. And it's going to be released next November in 2026.
How cool. That's such a great thing. Um, the movie It's a Wonderful Life. So we said it's not such a hit. Now, in my generation, everyone watched it every Christmas. So to us, it was, well, it must have always been that way. It'll be 80 years next year. Amazing. And yet it kind of came and it kind of went. And you went about your life, continued acting. We'll talk about some of those other projects and major co-stars as well. But so this movie, a bunch of years goes by, and it sort of accidentally falls into the public domain.
Yeah, it kind of did. Someone didn't renew the copyright. And that was in the 70s by then.
Mhm.
And so every little television station across America could show it. You turn your dial and there'd be one and another one. They all showed it at the same time. And that's how the people got exposed to the film. And once they did, well, that was all she wrote. And it's been a tradition in so many, many homes all over the world every year at Christmas.
For me, I didn't grow up watching at home, and then, I experienced some loss in my life, as we all have, and you have. And when you see that movie, there's a comfort. There's a comfort to it, and seeing it in a theater now, because it plays in movie theaters every year, and there is this charm to it, and it's more than a Christmas movie. It wasn't supposed to be a Christmas movie.
No, 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 it wasn't. But I
Chris,
mean, when you see it on the big screen now and you're in an audience, the spirit of that movie, sad, happy, all the different emotions you go through, everybody else goes through too. So it's huge when you watch it in person because everybody laughs, and then it's funnier somehow when you see it with a group of people who are emotionally involved as much as you are. It's a real treat.
I've been fortunate to see it a few times in theaters, and people always applaud at the end. That's not something that always happens in movies, but it always happens with this one.
And people always cry and people always laugh together. And I mean, that's the way to watch the movie if you possibly can.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I say you have to see it the way Frank Capra intended you to see this movie on a big screen, and people will still get those chances. In fact, every year you go to Seneca Falls, New York, and the movie is screened. There is an It's a Wonderful Life museum there, and people get the chance to meet you and a few of the other surviving cast members. Like I said, it's going to be 80 years. That's going to be December 12th through the 14th. It's a Wonderful Life Festival in
Yes.
Seneca Falls, New York. Could you imagine that you would be talking about this movie this many years later?
Oh, heavens, no. Never in a million years. No. You know how that all came about? I knew a cameraman on the Oprah show. He's a good friend of mine. And he called me in September and he said, "Oh, Carolyn, this is it. You've got to find this. This is it. This is the town." And I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "I'm going to take care of it. I'm going to go talk to somebody." So he went and talked to the right person, and the right person, he thought this was the town because it had the bridge, it had everything, so much like Seneca Falls. I mean, it's
Bedford Falls.
Bedford Falls, and that's what he wanted to see. And so he had this lady go and talk to some of the women's organizations, and they made it possible for me to come in that year at Christmas time. And I thought, oh, phooey, because I always thought Frank Capra had been in Jimmy Stewart's hometown and gotten his design for Bedford Falls from there. But they seem to think that he'd gotten his design from Seneca Falls, New York. So I go into town, it's snowing, it's night, nobody's on the streets. The Christmas lights are up, and they're all across the streets as well as on the lampposts. There's angels. And I walk in that silent snow and I look over to my right and there's the bridge. And it's covered in beautiful lights with bells and things on it. And I'm like, this is it. And I really knew at that time, I really felt like this was the place that Frank Capra came to find his ideas for the design of Bedford Falls. And then that's when we started having the festival. That was 22 years ago. And there was a barber there who had cut Frank Capra's hair. He remembered. He was an ancient feller. And I got the opportunity to talk to him. And he said, oh, yes, I remember cutting his hair. And I said, well, how do you know? How do you remember? And he said, well, my name is Anton, oh God, I can't think, Vicali or something like that. And he said, I remember because my name means beautiful in Italian. We're both from Sicily, and his name is Capra, and that means goat in Italian. So I always remembered cutting the goat's hair. Tommy Bellissimo, that was his name. That was the barber. And of course, he's gone now, but it was real. I mean, he really did cut his hair. And I just think he was there. Well, people thought he might have been visiting relatives. He might have had a cousin. But I think that's where he got the design for Bedford Falls in the movie. Also, there'd been this fellow, young man, that had, there's a plaque on the bridge that talks about him. He jumped in the canal to save a woman who was committing suicide jumping in. And he was a young Italian immigrant, and he saved her life, but he lost his. And so there was a plaque on the bridge that commemorates what he did for the city. And that tended to, the town had been separated, Italians on one side, WASPs on the other side, and that brought it all together back in the day. This was like in 20s. And Frank Capra would have seen that. He would have seen that the fellow jumped in to save the woman that was drowning. Maybe that gave him an idea about the movie as well. Who knows?
The spirit of the movie lives in
Yes.
Seneca Falls. From everyone who's been there, they have this amazing experience. And what an incredible place to sort of visualize. Unfortunately, not much from the movie has survived the actual locations. I believe there's two places left. The gymnasium, which is under the Hollywood High School, the pool, that is still there. And the Martini House. I believe that is the only
That's still
two.
there. Yeah, that's the only two. Beverly Hills High School and the Martini House.
Incredible. No one knew the history of this movie. They would have saved everything. You know, you have a museum dedicated, but boy, if people knew the history that they were experiencing, sometimes they say we don't realize that it's history until much later.
That's right.
You don't know when you're actually living it. Is it true that Jimmy Stewart had his assistant track you down years after the movie to see what you were up to?
Yes, it is true. It was a long time. It was 1980. And somebody knocked at my door, and it was a reporter. And I lived out in the country. And he said, were you the little girl in the movie It's a Wonderful Life? Did you play Zuzu? And I said, well, yeah. He said, well, can I have an interview? And I about fell off of my chair. I could not believe it. And so I drug all my stuff up. My mother had saved stuff from movies, but she saved an enormous amount from It's a Wonderful Life. I don't know why, but it just was that was the case. So I drug all my stuff up from the basement and had an interview, and it kept happening. People kept coming and wanting an interview. And I thought, what in the world is this all about? So I thought, well, it's 1980. I think I really better sit down and watch this film because I'd never seen
Wow.
it.
All those years, you just made the movie. It was another day at work, and you'd
That
never
was
seen it.
I was raised that not to be prideful. And so I figured, if I made a big deal about watching that movie or any movies that I was in, that would be prideful or something. I don't know. I had that mixed in my head, but I also had 7 kids and I was busy.
Mhm. And you were out of show business, obviously. You
Oh,
you
yes. Oh, yes.
you had made 16 movies, um, but tragically, your mother became ill,
Hmm.
and your father had passes away a year later, and you become an orphan, and you have to go live with your family in Missouri, uh,
That's right.
and technically ends your Hollywood career. You can't make Hollywood movies and in Missouri, and you become a citizen. No longer a
Right.
movie star, you become a citizen, and you become a medical tech, right?
Right.
And did you tell people at that time I was in the movies?
No, 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 no. It wasn't important to those people. Now, the people in the little town I ended up in knew because my mother and father were from that town, and I would come and visit. But no one else knew, and I didn't tell anybody anything. It wasn't any big deal to me. It was over. That part of my life was gone, and I wanted to go forward. So I never mentioned it to anybody.
Until you get outed by these interviews, Jimmy
Yeah.
Stewart's assistant, they come and find you. And then, as we were saying, the movie, it goes into the public domain, meaning people don't have to pay to play it. So
No,
why not play it? And all of a sudden, this little movie starts to get this huge following. And now people want to know. Look, you say one of the most famous lines in cinema history. That's incredible. At the time you said it, you never would have thought that
oh
you would
heavens, no.
you would be hearing it and writing it for the rest of your life.
Zuzu's petals. I mean, who would have thought, that simple little phrase would mean something someday to people?
It absolutely does, and that's why so many people are watching right now, and they want to hear more and learn more about this movie that was the little movie that was forgotten and then suddenly becomes a piece of many of our holiday lives,
That's right.
mine included. You see it once, and I just think that that experience changes you, and you want to see it again. Zuzu.net is your website, and say it again.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and it's such a beautiful site. You got involved with you sell bells that are made by the original bell makers of the bell in the movie.
That's right. Bev and Bell Company.
And you have Christmas ornaments. I'm placing my order today. Every
Oh,
Christmas, I go, I got to get in fast because what's amazing, Carolyn, is that you are on tour more than most rock bands. When Christmas comes, you're in demand.
I
People,
leave in 2 weeks.
yeah, at 85 years young, you are going to hit the road and
That's right.
promote this wonderful movie and also the arts and crafts that go with it, the images. People love to meet you, have you sign pictures from that amazing movie. And so I recommend Zuzu.net. You got to get in on it now though, because she's got to get out there and hit the circuit. Incredible. And she will be in Seneca Falls, December 12th to the 14th. If you're
Wow.
anywhere in the area, get your tickets now. Who's appearing with you at that festival? Jimmy Hawkins, right?
Yeah, Jimmy Hawkins, who he played the kid that burped, little Tommy.
Hmm.
And unfortunately, Janie, who played the piano, is unable to be there because of illness.
Yeah.
But there's also, do you remember the scene where Mary has a baby, her first child, and she
Hmm.
lifts it out of the playpen?
Yeah.
Well, of course, anytime you do a movie with babies, you have to have twins.
Twins.
Those twins are still alive, and one of the twins comes every year. So we have one of the twins, and we have Jimmy Hawkins and me. Unfortunately, when we started the festival, we had more than that.
Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely as time goes, and it's another
And
reason why people need to take advantage of this amazing
yeah,
event while they can. So that's It's a Wonderful Life. I want to just go through a couple other ones. I'll go through them quickly because your career is overwhelming. Sweet and Low, 1947. Sammy Davis Sr. and Sammy Davis Jr. in this movie. Tell me a little bit about that.
well, I had no idea about them, uh, but it turns out it's pretty darn famous. And Ralph Bellamy was in there,
Mhm.
and it was it's a short, and I really enjoyed doing it. And I did a lot of things on my own. They were really proud of me because I came out with words that weren't in the script and they liked it and kept it. I remember that very well. But no one ever talks about that movie. I'm just shocked that you even mention it.
Well, we hear about Sammy Davis Jr., but to hear about Junior and Senior in the same, and yes, you said it's a musical short. Yeah, I said I've got to hear just a little bit more about that.
Well,
What an
that
experience.
was the first time, I think, one of the first times that Sammy was in a movie. I mean, he was just beginning his career at that point.
Mhm. Same year, 1947, Mother Wore Tights. Betty Grable, an incredible actress. And then William Frawley is in the movie. I pick out the people that I remember of I Love Lucy. He was Fred Mertz. Tell me a little bit about that movie.
Uh, I was in about, a day or 2 days work. That was it. It was just not much. My name was Iris, and I was one of her children. She had two girls, and I don't remember too much about that one because I didn't do that much on that movie.
In and Out,
I didn't like
1947.
the clothes, I can tell you that.
No?
No. I mean, they cinched you up tight, and we used to go to the Western Costume Company, which was a huge, enormous building and had many, many floors of all kinds of costumes. And they'd take me in there, and I'd have to try on all these garbs until they finally found one they liked on me. And I had to wear this tight Victorian-like dress. I didn't like it much.
Yeah, I could see that standing out. 1947 is a busy year for you. Unconquered, Gary Cooper, directed by Cecil B. DeMille, and one of my all-time favorites, Boris Karloff, appears
Yeah,
in that
Boris
movie.
Karloff, yeah. I think my mother enjoyed that more than I did because I didn't have a clue who these people were. And I just played a dead girl. That was it. The Indians killed
Amazing.
me.
You co-starred with the original Frankenstein, and you played
I
a dead girl.
know.
Mhm. And but that was it for the whole movie. You just had to be dead.
That's it. I had to be dead.
There's no such thing as small parts, right?
Oh,
Uh, and then in 1947, same year, The Bishop's Wife, which a lot of people forget is part of your Christmas history because I know so many people who that's their favorite
that's right.
seasonal movie, starring the great Cary Grant and David Niven. People love this movie, and I know at appearances and things, everyone goes, "Oh, it's a Wonderful Life," and they go, "Wait a second, The Bishop's Wife." Tell me a little bit about that experience.
Well, that was one of my better experiences in all my movie history because I loved Cary Grant. He was my favorite. He loved kids. And one of the things that he used to do every day at lunch was he'd come over and he'd get me and he would take me on a sled. There really was an ice skating rink on the stage, and he would pull me around on a sled while he practiced his ice skating. And he loved it. I mean, he was every day he'd come and he'd do that. And, I just really liked him because he'd sit and tell me stories. And I think he had total recall because I never saw a script in his hand ever, ever. And he never sat around and studied, never. Like Loretta Young and many, well, almost all the people I work with, they were always sitting in a chair reading their script, studying for the next scene and so forth. Never did. He never did. So I think he had total recall. I really do.
How did you go about remembering your lines? Did your mother read them with you? What was the way that you memorized your lines?
Yeah, she read them to me.
Yeah.
And back then I was smart and I had a brain. I couldn't remember anything now.
Well, I beg to differ. You seem to remember quite a bit of this history, but Bishop's Wife has just was so important to so many people. It's been remade, and it's a
Oh, yeah. The remake was sick, but the real movie was
Cary Grant.
the real movie. And it has a wonderful story. And, it teaches us a lot about what's important in life. And certainly material things are not. And that's what the lesson was in that movie to David Niven. By
You
the way, I was told I couldn't hang around with him at all.
Oh, was David Niven known for being a
Yeah,
bit of a wild man? Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, don't go around him. That was, they tell you the rules up front when you first get there, and so you obey.
You were saying that a lot of kids had the same agents, or a lot of kids were in the same movies. Well, one of your co-stars from It's a Wonderful Life is also in The Bishop's Wife with you.
Right. Bobby
And
Anderson,
yeah, who was the young
George Bailey.
George Bailey. I was going to say Jimmy Stewart, but yes, George Bailey in It's Wonderful Life. So it's great to see that you guys are in another a Christmas movie together. Yeah. And then 1948.
Also, in
Yep.
that movie, there's a scene where the boys' choir comes in to sing before Cary Grant, the angel. They come in through the cathedral,
Mhm.
and there's a lady playing the organ, and that lady was Mary Hatch's mother in It's a Wonderful Life.
Wow. Yeah, it's all
Everybody co-mingled back in the day, and they were in lots of movies together.
yeah. How cool little trivia of those movies. 1948, Albuquerque, Randolph Scott, Gabby Hayes, and another Universal monster, Lon Chaney Jr. In this one. Do you remember much
Loved
about?
him.
Yeah.
Loved him. Yes, I thought he was the sweetest man, and he took the time to talk to me, and there was a scene where he's in a fight with um oh gosh, Randall Scott, and he pulled me aside before he did it, and he said, Carolyn, he said, I'm going to bleed. But he said, I'm going to show you how I do it. And he showed me the pill, the capsule. He said, well, put it in my mouth. And then he said, I'm going to break it when it's necessary. And you're going to see blood coming out of my mouth. So he said, don't worry, I'm fine. And this is just part of the action. And so, of course, I'm watching all this and he did it. And it was great.
That's
He was
it's so great that he
really a
that he
nice
did that.
guy.
Yeah, a legend of makeup and movies, obviously. Okay, 1949, Lust for Gold, Glenn Ford. I mean, this is a who's who of movie stars. What do you
Yeah,
remember about that?
he's nasty.
Hmm. We had to
Yeah.
have one, right?
Yeah. He was nasty in the movie, and I don't know if he was just staying in character or if that was his personality. I don't know. But he was nasty. He was not kind man at all. And I did cry, and they blew onion dust in my eyes to cry, but I really didn't have to have that because I cried anyway. He scared me.
Mm,
He
yeah.
wasn't nice.
We had to have one. Now let's hope that this next one, 1950, one of the biggest movies of all time, Rio Grande. John
Oh,
Wayne. Was John Wayne nice?
oh, he was wonderful. He was great. Big booming voice. And I had a birthday. We were in Moab, Utah filming, and I had a birthday, and my birthday just happens to be the 4th of July.
Hmm.
So this is in 1950, and the Korean conflict had broken out. So the government had commandeered a lot of the planes. And so it was hard for us to get supplies shipped in because the planes were few and far between. So my he managed to have a giant cake flown in, and he had $300 worth of fireworks, which was a lot back in the day.
Sure.
And he had that flown in, and we all went out to the Colorado River Bluff, and he did "Happy Birthday, little Miss Carolyn."
Mhm.
It was great. It was great.
Incredible. Directed by John Ford. Talk about some of these
Scary man. Mm.
scary, right?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, he has a bit of a reputation. Frank Capra, you seem to have a very good relationship with.
Oh, absolutely. He was wonderful. He was kind, and he told you what he wanted you to do, and he was just very gentle. And I think that's the way to get the best thing out of a kid is just to be gentle and kind and not being mean and scary.
And John Ford, the opposite.
Opposite.
Yeah. And what about Cecil B. DeMille? I can't leave him out.
I was dead. I don't remember.
There's not much direction. It's a good point. There's not much direction in being dead. But it worked for you. You continued.
Yeah,
1952, Hans Christian Andersen with Danny Kaye. This would be the last movie you make as a child actress.
right.
What do you remember about that experience?
Well, geez, I'm really being naughty here, but Danny Kaye didn't like kids.
Mm.
And he was a huge advocate for a lot of children's things, but he was meaner goose. He was not nice. I shouldn't say that, should I?
I don't think he's not around anymore. It's okay. They won't hold it against you. Uh, and so was that experience not a positive one?
No, it was not a positive one. No, I went out with that one not so positive. But I did one before that with Judy Canova. It was great. Had a wonderful time with her and all the people in the westerns. They were great. I loved the westerns.
Mm. Yeah, it's incredible, and it's such an honor to spend this time with you and talk about these people and share your memories. I have to ask you, because you've been through so much in your life, what is the secret for you to happiness, a successful life, a long life? I say you're 85 years young, you're still very sharp, active. What advice can you give us?
Well, I really don't have any advice. I just know that I have survived by looking at the positive side of things. There always is a good side when there's a bad side. Dwell on the positive side, and I think that you will find the answers to a better life because dwelling in the negative areas is just not the best thing to do. I mean, I lost my parents early. I mean, I could have drowned in my sorrows if I wanted to. I lost a son from suicide, but I have learned over the years you just need to positive think. You need to dwell on the positive things in your life. You need to help your fellow man. That's the best thing you can do to get well. Volunteer, do charity work, do all kinds of things, and that will give you your self-confidence and it will make you feel good about yourself, and you would have made a difference in people's lives by doing something positive. And I think that's what heals you. It certainly
Yeah,
did me.
yeah, I think that's incredible advice. Doing for others definitely adds a sense of worth. And you're so big a part of the holidays. Every year we do a big fundraiser for Toys for Tots, helping less fortunate children get some gifts, a great Marine-based charity, and there's so many others. Your face and your words are so associated with that time of year. And so it's a great time to give back to people. And as you said, it helps your own healing by helping others. Zuzu.net also has a list of your appearances. So those of you, she may be coming to your town. Take a look at the appearance list and also the shop. Get in there and get some really cool collectibles. It's just such an amazing stuff. And it's so great. And I hope you will continue with this for the longest time and honoring this movie and making people happy, Carolyn. I met you at the Hollywood show. And boy, the smile on my face meeting you. It's just you're just such a warm person, and sharing your experiences makes so many other people happy.
Well, I feel very fortunate that I got to play part of that little girl and to have the life I did. I appreciate the fact that whoever is running the show up there let me do it.
And hopefully we'll let you do it for a lot of years to come. I'm so thankful that you took this time for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And by the way, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everybody. Yeah. And
Remember,
can I get you to say your
every
famous?
time a bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it,
I ring a
Carolyn.
lot of bells.
Yes, well, I'm going to order my bell right now. Ca Carolyn, thank you so much. I know you do these a lot, and I interview rock stars all day, but this was so much more important to me. And my girlfriend, who loves Bishop's Wife, we have rival Christmas movies, but but thank you. And I got to get out to Seneca Falls. I'm looking into seeing if I can make it because it sounds incredible.
Well, come next year for the 80th anniversary. That's going to be big.
That's the big one. I think I've got to do it. I thank you again. I
Okay,
appreciate it.
thank
Thank you.
you.
Okay, bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
I don't